New Yorkers.
We're ready. Okay, now as you can see, the mayor walking out. The mayor did not say anything. His attorney, though, Alex Spiro, did talk. It lasted for about 4 or 5 minutes there. The mayor then walking away, holding, the thumbs up. Reporters screaming questions out to him. Are you going to resign? He's not going to resign. He's already said he's not going to resign. But the interesting thing that his attorney, Alex Spiro, just said, they're alleging that this all involves one staffer who did all of this work with all of these Turkish officials, all of these Turkish businessmen, some of them wanting to donate $50,000 each, and that she did that all on her own without the mayor's knowledge. That is what they are maintaining. The indictment says something quite different.
Yeah, exactly. And, in the indictment, it doesn't just list one person. And also, I believe he's referring to there, and I'm forgetting her last name, but her first name is Rena, and she used to work in Adam's office, and she, could also potentially, I believe, her home was raided along with Brianna Suggs last November, and it came out a few months later that it seemed like she was cooperating with the Justice Department. So I believe that is who he was talking about. But something else that really caught my eye, and something that the lawyer said today and he said yesterday, is they're really trying to focus on these just these travel perks, that it's just these flight airline upgrades. It's just, these little luxury hotels and stuff like that. But they didn't really reference the public campaign matching funds. And he received millions because of these illegal contributions that he allegedly took. He got millions of dollars in public campaign matching funds as well.
Right.
So public money as well.
That's right. Right now, Morgan, we're going to go ahead. We're going to bring in Arthur Idella, criminal defense attorney. So actually, he doesn't need that. You hold on to that because we'll be talking to you again. But anyway, Arthur, thank you so much. Here we go again.
I just waved to the mayor as he walked out. I've been texting with him and his team consistently since this all broke. And, he's just keeping his chin up as much as possible, but I will tell you, Linda, having practiced in this courthouse for many years now, you never want to be a defendant here. I mean, you just look at the statistics, and their conviction rate is through the roof. It's over 90%. So I appreciate what his lawyer said, and I get it. A lot of people who I've spoken to about the actual indictment say it seems to be rather petty compared to cases that they bring here, like Bernie Madoff's case that took billions of dollars from people, and Sam Bankman-Fried, and even the Sean Diddy case, where this is not a case of that caliber, but it's a case.
And let me just interject here. What do you mean? What part of it is petty?
There's no real victim, right? So with Madoff, which was here, he depleted people's wealth, life savings, the hundreds and hundreds of people's. With P. Diddy, there are apparently, allegedly, actual female victims who were abused. Here, maybe they're saying that in the worst case scenario, the campaign finance system was manipulated. No one's victimized by someone getting upgraded on the flight. No one's victimized by staying in a better hotel room. So,
what about accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars from Turkish nationals when you know that's against the law?
Well, let's just be clear. Unlike other cases, this isn't like he accepted a bag of cash. This isn't like he accepted gold bars like Senator Menendez's case. They're saying that he got perks that came up to that amount of money, and I'm sure that's something that can very much be challenged. When they come up with that number, they look at a hotel room at the most expensive price it's ever been, as opposed to what the least expensive price that it's ever been. So $100,000 could be all of a sudden become $12,000. But the mayor's got his work cut out for him. I will tell you personally, I hope he stays in office and fights this. I think the federal government is, they're really flexing their muscles. The fact that they used our money, our taxpayer dollars yesterday to send 12 FBI agents to Gracie Mansion to get one phone from him shows you the excess that's going on here. Why do we need to spend 12 people? All they had to do is say, there's 5 police officers outside guarding Gracie Mansion. Could you hand them your phone?
So why do you think that happened?
They want to show how
through your experience.
They want to show how powerful they are. They want to show that when the government is coming to get you, they are coming to get you. I'm sure they did not like the video Eric Adams released the night before. I mean, 2 nights ago when the indictment was announced that there was one, where he said, I'm not going anywhere and I'm going to fight this. And they came right back. Oh, really? Look what they did. First, they took down his deputy mayor, his police commissioner, his second police commissioner, to weaken everyone around him. And then they came in after him. And then even after they came in after him with the indictment, once he said, I'm not going anywhere and I'm going to fight, they sent 12 agents. That's our taxpayer money to go in and get a phone where all they had to do is say, we need your phone. There's a police officer outside. Please hand it to him. And it would have been done. It's just a show of force to show that the power that the government has. They have this big, beautiful building. They have unlimited funds. They have unlimited resources. So, you know, I mean, and us citizens, we have to fight the fight to make sure the government does not overstep their bounds.
Okay, so at this point, if you're his attorney, now he says he's innocent. He says he's not going to resign. Governor Hochul has the power to remove him. We don't know if that's actually going to happen yet. But as his attorney, what would you be saying to him right now about his strategy and how he should continue as mayor of this city?
I would tell him right now, go back to City Hall and go back to work. You don't know how to read any discovery that we have right now. You don't know how to handle this. This is not what you do. You go make sure our parks are great, make sure the streets are safe, make sure the traffic is moving. Let us handle this. And then as the lawyers, you try to figure out who the witnesses are. You need an investigator to go out and speak to the witnesses. You look at the paperwork that you get in discovery. You break it all down, and you go into the prosecutor's office and say, you know what? You ain't so bad. This isn't as airtight as you think it is. And let's see what these they're taking all of his materials, all of his digital devices. Let's see. They have to turn that over. Let's see what they say, and let's see if things can be interpreted in a way that's not in favor of the government and is in favor of Mayor Adams.
Okay, so the arraignment happens today. From this point forward, how long do you think it's going to take before this case is concluded?
More or less a year. I mean, that's just typical. You know, it could be as soon as 10 months. It could be as long as 18 to 20 months. It really depends on the amount of discovery, the amount of witnesses, and, you know, how long it takes to. There's motion practice. So on Wednesday, what the judge is going to do when Eric Adams comes back, he's going to appear before a higher level judge, a district court judge, a relatively new judge, who will then set some deadline, a calendar to some degree, having them come back probably in 2 to 3 months and say, okay, where are we? What paperwork has been turned over to the defense? What motions are going to be made? And let's put us on a path for a trial date. Okay,
so on Wednesday he has the conference. So what basically would happen at that conference? You were telling me that both sides get to know one another, talk with one another.
The judge will basically take control, make sure everyone knows that, you know, he's in charge. As I said, he's not very experienced relative to some of the judges in the courthouse, and he's going to set a calendar for everybody when he wants things done by. And some judges set a trial date on Wednesday. It could be 18 months or a year and 3/4 from now. Others say no, let's wait, let's let the dust settle a little bit, let's see how much discovery is, what's the volume of evidence that they plan to present or that the defense is entitled to, and how long is it going to take the defense to go through all of that.
Okay, now knowing the scope of the case like this, realistically, do you think that the mayor of New York City, we're not talking about middle America, some itty-bitty town, 500 people, this is New York City, pretty much the center of the universe. How, and people don't like it when we say that, but it is.
I agree with you.
I know, but it is. So realistically, how does he continue to govern with the scope of this? Because doesn't he have to be immersed in this case? And how do you do both at the same time?
To be honest with you, tell you a little bit how the sausage is made from a criminal defense attorney's point of view. The defendant isn't that involved until a lot later on. It's really the lawyers that have to learn everything. The lawyers have to read everything and study everything and research the case law and compare it with the evidence is to the case law. And then at certain points you call the client in and say, okay, just clarify this for me or just explain that to me. And and I think Eric Adams has actually done a lot of this because he was given his phones back. He was given his materials back. And his
the initial materials that that were taken from him,
Right.
not the one from yesterday.
Correct. The stuff from November. And his previous attorney, Brendan McGuire, who's an excellent lawyer, I know for a fact, I'm not guessing, that they downloaded all that, and they've gone through all of that with the mayor. So they basically have much of what the prosecutors have seized in November, and they have answers to all of those questions. So as the mayor said yesterday, and as I tell clients, I said, look, you retain me, this is my problem now. You go live your life. Let me work. I had a conversation with someone like that an hour ago. He's like, I'm a nervous wreck. I go, that doesn't help anything. Go live your life. Go to work. Take care of your family. This is my problem now. And I think Eric Adams has the focus and the wherewithal to do that.
To be able to do that. Our anchor, Bianca, has a question for you, so I'll repeat it to you. Bianca, what is it?
Linda, maybe you can answer this as well, because I know you know city government so well, but we've talked about the mayor in terms of how he could leave if he does, whether that is by Governor Hochul, or whether he decides to resign on his own recognizance, or the third one we have not talked about is city officials forming an inability committee, which is part of the city charter. They would have the power to fire the mayor. Do you know anything about that? Because when we talk about city council members, a lot of them are saying he should resign. Is that an area that he should be worried about?
Well, one thing, first of all, let me tell you this. We haven't discussed that third option that you're talking about there, so I'm not up to speed on that one. But secondly, a lot of the city council members who are calling for him to resign are the progressive, the extreme left. And these are people who have not worked well with the mayor. They were not happy when the mayor was running. They were not happy when the mayor was elected. And they've been butting heads with the mayor since he has been in office. Most of them who are, not all of them, most of them that are calling for him to resign. Now, the number of people calling for him to resign within the city council, that number could continue to rise and could eventually get the people who are in the middle. So far, that has not happened, but it could. Now, as for Governor Hochul, and I want you to weigh in on this, too. Now, Governor Hochul does have the power to remove the mayor from office if he decides not to resign and if she decides to exercise that option. But she issued a statement after going through that 57-page indictment. Now, the night before, there was no word. Yesterday at a news conference, she said, I'm going to be deliberative about this, I'm going to be thoughtful about this, but she hadn't seen the indictment. Then she read the indictment and sends out this statement last night, basically using the same type of language that Nancy Pelosi used when the Democrats were pressuring Joe Biden to drop out of the race. Meaning, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not going to tell you to resign. I'm not going to say that. But you need to take the time to give this some thought and think about how you are able to move forward in a productive, positive way for the people of New York City. So it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same message. What do you think about that?
Well, I think people were saying that Eric Adams was a little too friendly with the governor, unlike De Blasio and Cuomo's relationship. I think that's paying off right now. I think if this was a couple of years ago with different administrations, the governor would have removed the mayor already. I think she's going to see if he's able to do his job, what you and I were just talking to. Are things running well? Has he reappointed people to the positions that have just been vacated? Is he out there? Is he? How does he look? Is his public appearance or public persona consistent with what it was and should be as the mayor of the city of New York? And don't forget, we're almost at election season. I mean, it's the second the presidential election is over, we start running for mayor here. The petitions go out in February, and if she removed him, the election would be in 90 days, right, and then they would have to run again in June. Right. So it would be, and it would be
it would be chaos. It would be chaos.
About the money that it costs too to have a special election, and then months later. And here's a curveball: if Donald Trump wins, he puts in a new U.S. attorney. And that U.S. attorney has the prosecutorial discretion to decide how to handle this case.
Okay, there you go. Bianca, quick question. What is it?
Damian Williams, U.S. attorney, yesterday in his press conference said if anyone has information, come forward before it's too late. Maybe you can ask Arthur, is that a scare tactic by the SDNY to shore up this case?
Okay, real quickly here, Bianca has a question for you because we got to wrap. We got to be off the air in like a minute and a half. Basically, Damian Williams yesterday saying, and it was an ominous thing to say, hey, look, anybody else know anything? You better come forward before it's too late. Is that a scare tactic?
Yes, it is a scare tactic. Look what we're doing to the mayor of the city of New York, right? The most powerful guy around here. Look how we brought him down. We'll bring you down too. So you better come and see us. And that's the bully tactics obviously work for them.
Arthur Idala, criminal defense lawyer. Thank you so much.
Hello to Bianca as well. Hello to Bianca as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Arthur. Bianca, back inside to you.
Thank you to you both for covering that. Really, certainly appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for our breaking news coverage. I'm Bianca Peters. We're going to see you back here Monday. 25 words or less is next.
Sherry, this morning at 10 on Fox 5. Sherry, this morning at 10 on Fox 5.
All right, it's a story that was really captivated the city the last 24 hours or so. Mayor Adams right now at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, where he is scheduled to be arraigned in just a few hours.
Right, and that's where Lizette Nunez is right now. So we know he came there about, what time this morning? About 9 o'clock?
It's about 8:55.
Yeah, about 8, yes. 8:55, that was it. When he got here, he did a quick thumbs up to the cameras and went straight into the building. He did have his attorney, Alex Spiro, right behind him. And the mayor is facing 5 charges, including bribery and solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national. Prosecutors say Adams accepted lavish gifts from Turkish officials in exchange for donations to his mayoral campaign and orchestrated a straw donor scheme to funnel legal contributions to his campaign. Now, Adams, he has maintained his innocence throughout the investigation. And once again, he got here pretty early. That arraignment is scheduled for noon today. So we'll be sure to keep you updated throughout the new newscast as well as our 5 and 6. So make sure you stay with us. But Leslie is here from Lower Manhattan. Kurt and Rosanna will send things back.
From Fox 5, this is The Noon.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams is inside of a Lower Manhattan courthouse right now, coming